Interlocal Planning Board meeting to order. May I have roll call, please?
I can begin. My name is Sean College. I'm Hillsborough River Board and Planning Commission staff.
My name is Eric Larson, and I'm planning commission staff as well.
Will Rushing, I'm a Hillsborough County citizen on the technical advisory.
Kim Cruz, and Hillsborough County Environmental Services, environmental supervisor.
Well, environmental services section. Robert Meyer, Temple Terrace staff.
Amber Smith, government community affairs, Swiftwood. Kathy Julian, Port Tampa Bay.
Christine Miller, Vice Chair, Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners.
And Guido Maniscalco, Tampa City Council. So we do have a quorum and we are ready to go. At this time, if we could please stand and face the flag for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Do we have public comment? Anybody from the public that's not presented?
Mr. Chair, no one online from the public today.
All right, we have approval of the previous meeting summary from August 26, 2025. Second, all in favor? Aye, any opposed? All right, presentations, reports, and status updates, the HCCPA 1625 Surface Water Resource Protection Areas Map Update. Who would like to present on that? Yes, ma'am, come on up, please say your name.
Hi, my name is Kim Cruz, environmental supervisor of Environmental Services Division, Hillsborough County.
All right, go ahead, if you have, there it is.
We're here today to present to you guys the proposed updated surface water resource protection area map, which includes Hillsborough River Basin area. The purpose is to protect existing and future sources of drinking water for the public. We did review the criteria required for the surface water resource protection area, and we find that there are updates needed. And with these updates, they have to be incorporated to the comprehensive plan. Over here on the left is an image of the current adopted surface water resource protection area, and on the right is the proposed surface water resource protection area. And we wanted to add the wellhead resource protection area, even though this is not directly associated with the surface water resource protection area. There is one well field that is located within the Hillsborough River Basin, as can be seen basically in the north center of Hillsborough County. And these are the updates that we're proposing for the wellhead resource protection area. And that concludes my presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions?
I have a question, Chris. When you change your wellhead protection area, so it comes up obviously a lot in the land use. How does it affect the people that are already there, like they're in the process of getting approvals and that? Because I know a lot of times we have those discussions, we want to protect those wellheads. But like we had an issue recently where it was not approved by planning because it was next to the immediate property was a well protection, but the other had been there for 30 years. So how did it then become part of the protection area, I guess is.
You mean like how it affects applications that are coming through that they're in protection area now, but they won't be if it's approved?
So it was an existing business expanding to the property, the 5 acres next to it.
Okay.
And it became a wellhead protection area. So it's like this business was right next to it. We're not asking them to cease that business. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, I ended up ultimately voting to approve it against staff recommendation because I was like, it's literally, you could step your foot over onto the other piece of property, didn't understand how you were protecting it. Does that make sense? So help me understand that process, I guess.
Okay, so the way that the land development code is set up is that if it's an existing activity, the applicant has the ability to apply for a prohibited use permit if it's a prohibited activity. So, but it would have to be an existing activity at the adoption of.
So any existing business that happens to be in one of the new areas is gonna have to apply, or they get sort of like grandfathered in? What happens to those businesses?
They would have to apply to prohibited use. But it's essentially a grandfathering in, because if it's prohibited activity and it's a new prohibited activity, they would not be allowed to have that kind of activity there. But if it's existing, so like if they construct it and they put the existing activity on site and it's there before we get the land development code, because with this is also, an amendment to the land development code. If they construct it after the land development code is adopted, then it would be considered existing.
You answered my question. Thank you very much.
Just to be clear, this is a change to the comprehensive plans are adopted not to the unincorporated county comprehensive plan, not in the Tampa or the Tucson Terrace. Correct. That's what we're talking about here. This, and they did recently go through the planning commission process, review process. I think you got a favorable recommendation from the
Correct.
planning commission, so assuming coming to the board.
Great. Thank you.
For the transmittal process, yes. And then it goes-
I think we transmitted it.
Oh, did you already do that?
All right, any other, yes,
For anybody who's like not familiar with the wetland protection zones, do you want to just explain like what type of businesses that would affect with this change with the buffers?
Okay, so most businesses that have regulated substances, which is the hazardous substances list that you see listed in CERCLA, it's like 800 substances. Or over 800 substances. There's landfills, tanks, phosphogypsum stacks, what else?
Gas stations.
Gas stations, because gasoline is a regulated substance, because of the benzene. There's also concentrated animal feeding operations, no discharges to stormwater. There's also domestic wastewater treatment plant requirements. You can have one, it just has to meet certain standards. Trying to think of what else there is specifically. I also know that there is a general exemption for residential, as long as you have at least 1 acre of uplands to put in a septic tank. For the SWRPA, yeah. So, yeah, there's a long list of prohibited activities. Second here. And I don't want to dig too deep and give too much detail.
Yeah, just
But-
in general.
But in general, yeah, so most of it's gonna be an industrial designations, manufacturing designate, land use designations.
And it'll just cause them to increase their stormwater capturing and make some modifications to their stormwater management system.
No, not necessarily, no, it's either restricted or prohibited. And, prohibited new, there's nothing that they can do, but if it's existing, they can get a permit, and if it's restricted, they can get a permit. But there are best management practices that have to be put in place. To qualify. Yeah. Additionally, there are DEP rules that address a lot of these prohibitions and restrictions. This is kind of like an extra layer of protection for the public sources of drinking water. And then private wells also, there are rules and regulations out there that address private wells setbacks for similar prohibited restrictions, similar activities. You're welcome.
all right. Can I get a motion to approve item 6A?
It's an informational item unless you have any action one to take.
Okay. It's all the stars, so we don't have to do it.
Well, that's an error, sorry about
Oh,
that.
okay, all right, never. All right, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next we have- yeah.
Or am I missing something? No, you weren't looking for any kind of action from the river board. This one's already been transmitted, right? So
I believe so.
Yeah.
unless you were looking for I'm sorry, I just to belabor this, but I mean, unless you could support it through a motion if you wanted to support this. But it's not necessary.
Okay,
Unless the speaker's asking for your support.
We're not super familiar, I'm Jeff Greenwell, we're not super familiar with the process, we're not sure what would best serve the ability to move this forward. We defer to you guys on that. I think that the work that Ms. Cruz has done and we've collectively worked on earns property rights to a lot of folks that may inadvertently were not having those property rights afforded them. I think it provides as much or even a better level of protection, particularly when it comes to our review of surface water. Restriction actually both, but in the case of the river forward, the surface water protections, they span some areas. We've contracted a lot of areas because they're perennial and they just don't flow very often. So if there were an incident, there would be plenty of opportunity to mitigate that prior to it actually impacting any actual intake structure for a surface water plant. We have 3 intake structures, or 4 intake structures, 2 at the middle pool on the Tampa Valley Canal. We have 1 on the Alfire River, and then we have 1 for the city of Tampa, well downstream of Temple Terrace, as you probably know. So we went back and took a closer look at the requirements to establish the SWRPA. It had not been changed since its inception in 2003. And a lot of FEMA work since then. And as a result, it may look like it's cut down in scope, but the reality is a lot of those areas really aren't continuously discharging into the Hillsborough River Basin or the Alpine River Basin.
All right, thanks. So if no action is needed, then thank you very much. Our next item is a TAC activity update. Jackie Julian is here.
So, on a presentation on fingerprinting the source of nitrogen. Bay. They use the Hillsborough River and Bay for the study. The main goal is to understand the non-port sourcage, which make up 55% of the nitrogen. Sampling was done over 20 months in the areas from May 2023 to January 2025. In other business, the Temple Terrace resident expressed concerns about the low level of the Middle River, the low water levels to the low rain. Then in September, we received presentation on Tampa's West River Walk extension related to the Port Tampa Bay, or actually EPC issued minor work permits under the delegation number 8701, 8702, and 8562, which are permits for living shorelines on the west bank, ranging from Lake High School on the north side and then all the way to the south side of Platte Street Bridge over by 20 Janus Park. What's the southern section of that? We went over key areas in the project area, including the Janine B. Lane Park, University of Tampa, and South Beach Boulevard. Shared the planned segments at Stewart Middle School, Tampa Prep School, Lafayette Place, and the overland connections of the overwater center focus. And then we reviewed Port Tampa Bay's minor work permit 25-007 relating to the expressway bridge expansion to Rothea, which will close the gap between the 2 existing bridges that cross over Hillsborough River that make up the expressway.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Thank you very much.
Okay, forgot. We had the awards banquet, for the planning commission awards banquet and gave the paddle award to Defense of the River.
What a great event, really. Everybody was there.
It was good. And it was nice to recognize Friends of the River, Rich Brown.
Yeah.
Who's since kind of moved away from his public activities. So it was nice to recognize him, his work with Friends of the River, and he really appreciated it.
Yeah. Rod Hatch, Bill Compton, all the names. Rod Hatch was on the river Saturday night. He sent me a picture and on a kayak, and the Sulphur Springs water tower with all lit up in blue is just, beautiful from, the perception of not just passing on the interstate, whatnot. So, but yeah, they care about, they go out to pick up trash and they're out all the time. So volunteers are
Our chair did a great job at the podium giving you an award. It was really well presented. Thank you.
giving my history lesson of
It was
the
great.
building.
Yeah.
If you give me a microphone, I'll just,
That's great.
yep.
Thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you very much. Next up is our 2026 calendar. The dates are in our packet. Our next meeting is for January 26th on Monday at 9:30 a.m. And then the other dates?
Yeah, we're following the usual schedule, for Mondays, except for April, which it deviates from that. April, remember, is your annual meeting with your TAC, so we do it on their regular dates. But all the meetings, we're planning to do it in this room and put it there so you're aware of it. And if you have no, see any conflicts or problems with the schedule, we'll have you send out appointments about it for everyone.
Okay. All right, so next we have permit application reviews for A, B, C, and D. Were there any objections or concerns or?
No, sir, your TAC reviewed these 4 items and recommended to the river board that you find them consistent with the river master plan.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve 7A through D?
For clarification, can I make a motion all at once?
Yes, you may. Yes.
I move that we approve, the permit application reviews A, B, C, and D for 14 with a minor work permits, as the numbers listed. in the packet.
Second, all in favor? Aye, any opposed? Any other business? Yes, ma'am.
Amber Smith, Government Affairs in Swiftland. Just wanted to give you a little bit of an update because we are entering our dry season. And we did have below average rainfall really since the hurricanes. But just want to give you a little bit of an update about where we are currently, and then I'll be reaching out to your offices to offer you a more detailed explanation. So as of last week, the historic average for rainfall just in the month of October is about 2.93 inches. And in the central area, so that includes Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, Polk, we're at 0.85. For the year, the historic average until this point in October is about 48.10 inches. And we're about 10 inches below that at 37.92 inches. In addition to that, some of the other indicators that we do monitor include river levels, both the most recent averages as well as longer averages. And some of them are in the normal category, depending where you are on the Hillsborough and Alevi. And then some of them are moderately abnormal as far as dry, and then some are severely abnormal in the dry area. And so we do have our governing board coming up tomorrow in Brooksville, and we'll be hearing an update, a hydrologic update from some of our scientists then. It is likely, unless we get the kind of rain that the East Coast got last night, where they suddenly get 19 inches, which we certainly do not hope for in one night. But unless we get an abnormal rainfall, it is likely in November at our governing board meeting. Then we'll probably be bringing some recommendations to the governing board regarding some water restrictions. And so that remains to be seen because we have no idea what the status will look like at that point, if it's better or worse. But wanted to give certainly you all the heads up on that. And then as I'm meeting with our other governments, I'm also giving them the heads up on that. If you remember, our most recent one was right before the hurricane season. So during that time within Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, we did restrict irrigation to 1 day a week watering. That helped us save about 33 million gallons a day within the Tampa Bay water area, and also timing, just kind of restricting the time that you have to irrigate the lawn. Again, it just kind of remains to be seen what areas look like what, we'll know more next month. But it's just a good time to kind of renew, all of the available resources to help people conserve water. There's a lot of technologies that are out there now, so you can still water your grass and still have a healthy grass, a green grass, but just do it with a little bit less water.
Great, thank you very much. So I've shared with you my office number, and you were going to give us an update, so we'll coordinate with that. I'm glad that it's dry October because after last year, and it allows, I know City of Tampa stormwater crews are out there, cleaning the ditches and doing the maintenance, and after what happened last year, because we have a lot of work to do, so.
Yeah, to give you a little bit of, a comparison on that. So the aquifer level in the central aquifer last week was 26% full. Last year, we were in the 92 to 94% full.
I mean, such intensity of rain, the ground saturation.
Yeah.
And one night I was scared to get home, and this is in West Tampa where areas that we never had,
Right.
issues, I mean, roads were impassable.
Yeah.
And, but the intensity of the rain and, you know,
Right.
no one wants a drought, but we went from one extreme to, you know, so.
Right. Yeah.
All right, anything else? Thank you very much. I look forward to, we'll set up a meeting and get more information. Anything else, sir?
I don't have anything else. We'll see you back in January.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.